getting into it, ladies and gentlemen. This could very well decide the grand finals in just a few minutes. Let's get loud, let's get noisy, because it's time for map number 2. We're live with the bands, and let's see who Oxygen want to knock out. They've got our first and final one. Astralis will have the 2 middle ones. Just refer to the colors to represent which team's ban is which. Oxygen, as the first attacker ban, is going to knock out Ying. Makes perfect sense. Ying is absolutely quintessential, especially to basement attacks, so they're going to remove that comfortability factor from Astralis one more time.
She's been so strong for quite some time now, especially on a map like this, as you were saying, John. And, well, past that, what are they thinking for the secondary offensive ban? It's going to be Maverick. That leaves Thatcher up, but does that also mean that we're going to see a Kaid ban, so they don't have to work Thatcher in when they want to? We're going to have to see. It looks like for Astralis, they'll be getting rid of Valkyrie. It's going to be up to Oxygen if they want to remove Kaid.
This will put these teams on attack into a bit of an awkward position, almost needing to bring Thatcher in now to properly get hatch access and things like that. Mira, though, the expected final ban, no surprises there. Valkyrie and Mira have been two of the highest banned operators at this event, so. And we are finally live, ladies and gentlemen, into the first round of Oregon between Oxygen and Astralis. Astralis have the edge. They just need to close out this map, and they'll be moving on to the grand finals to face off against DZ. But Oxygen looking to stop them, looking to send us to a third and final map inside of Theme Park instead. So let's see if they can get it done, as they do have the defensive start here, which should give them a nice little boost for the first half.
Oxygen has to stave off elimination by picking up this map. And ladies and gentlemen, do they have any help in the crowd? There we go. We got some Oxygen assistance here, so hopefully they won't have to be put on life support just yet. Newers be holding things down inside of Freezer. Foxay with the aggressive hold here. Back stairs. Nobody wanted to push forward. Well, except for Iconic, who's currently poised right outside of the kitchen hallway. Could get pretty aggro here. Vertical waiting this, though. Seeing if he could potentially get one himself, but a drone will come in and actually find him instead. Gonna be a swing here from Iconic, and oh my god!
Should've kept the
Vertical immediately decimated by the LMG.
Immediately finding impact as soon as the Finca is put back into his hands. Iconic making massive impact right at the very start of this game by knocking out Vertical here. Gonna look to get himself another one, and he may very well do it. There's a second one. It's an attempted flank from Laxing, but no, Iconic reads into it, shuts him down, and has single-handedly put this down to a 5v3.
We had some pretty interesting offensive bans, but maybe you wanted to take the Finca away again because Iconic is already getting away with far too much. Forrest will pre-fire where he stood yesterday and stood out of classroom and was able to grasp a hold of at least one kill. J9O, though, will take down Newers as he attempts to rotate through Z. Astralis already with a huge man advantage.
Dream trying to turn this around a little bit, but he's caught mid-reload. That's the problem with that SMG-11. You've got to reload after nearly every single engagement. Foxay at minimum will be able to exchange that frag out, but look, he's alone, surrounded by every single member of Astralis, and there's nowhere to run. They spend no time taking him down, and Astralis get a confident first round going here on Oregon. They're out for blood, they're out for a quick victory, and trying to get themselves into that final position.
Now, I'm not worried for Oxygen just yet. This is where the worry will start to steep in this next round, where Oxygen could potentially already lose 2 of these defenses. Astralis could already pick the 2 up that they should necessarily get on Oregon. It's been tending to lean towards the defense, but I mean, it's just been so difficult. Iconic has been feeling himself as well. I think the big thing for Astralis was getting that first game out of the way with the crowd. And it wasn't that it was necessarily affecting them, it's just that all of you in this room, you do add an X factor, let me tell you. There is just that little extra bit of pressure as everyone is looking at every single move that you make. But for Astralis, it's actually empowered them. It made it to where they feel more at home than ever. And now for Oxygen, they are feeling that wrath. The wrath of a Titan from Astralis here. We'll see if they can potentially push this even farther. As Oxygen will head back downstairs to see if they can successfully defend the basement.
Yeah, Oxygen again calling for an immediate retry of the site. This is what they were doing with T and Karaoke on the last map, but ultimately did not serve to give them an advantage to keep retrying that. As we saw Jesse break down at one point during the analysis desk. They played it 3 times and lost every single one of them, handing over the large majority of Astralis' rounds as they just needed to repeat the same success they had already found for themselves. Now, it's going to be a little different this time. You guys probably noticed notice the operator lineup changing slightly for Oxygen here, so they're going to try and pull things back a bit more. Actually, no, never mind. It's not looking like that's the case. They still want this early round fight. So you've got 1, 2, 3 players up on top, roaming around, trying to find entering players from Astralis, and this time they'll succeed in getting it. J9O is going to be knocked out by Newers at the beginning, and now they can call for the retreat back down into the depths of the basement.
Much stronger start here for Oxygen. J9O will be taken down, no longer having access to Zofia, and those impacts as well as those concussions. That LMG obviously playing into it quite handily as well. But speaking of which, another gun with quite a deep magazine will take down Boxe. The V308 of the Lion rips him to pieces, and now we're equalized here. Still plenty of time on the board though, although we've already had some very early action. Only about 1 minute and 10 seconds have went off the clock as Astralis continues to work the outside of the building. Force has actually worked his way in. He's over in Classroom right now, coming in through Split. He's the Hatch Queen Habana, so this is his job now. He must get rid of all of these around the map and give Astralis an easier way in order to work in.
Forrest continuing to investigate the big tower area and make sure no one from Oxygen has crept up to pull off like the laxing flank we saw after Iconic picked up his first kill. That was on the last round there. None of that going to be happening though. Oxygen already took the opening kill in their favor, so they did not feel the need to stick around in their own game except for challenging the staircase. They've all fallen back and are playing into the depths of their own defenses now, letting Astralis make the first move next, just as Astralis was very much doing towards the end of our previous map.
Yes, indeed. And now Astralis, they've set up for this execution. They're going to be clearing things out. Double nade from Iconic just to make sure that Freezer's clear. Nobody challenging that, but speaking of challenging, DP Fire with his second kill of the round. They're going to pull ahead yet again. Frag grenade in, a challenge and a win here for Newers, but Forrest battles back yet again. Astralis, time and time again in these low time executes, they've been able to use this man advantage and win out these rounds, but luckily enough, Oxygen, they're finally shooting back. It's a 2 versus 2 as they bounce back and forth off these angles. Iconic now inside of Freezer Hall. Might have one that he's able to grasp a hold of though, as he will quickly beat apart the bulletproof camera. Laxi will start swinging wide here towards the back end, but Iconic's ready for it. It's all down to Newers. A triple kill for him. Aquadaby's able to get it, but very low on HP. Iconic still has one adrenal surge as well, but it's on cooldown. That LMG, so dangerous depending on the angle that he chooses here. Newers crouched and close. He's ready for the fight, and he loses it. Astralis will grab a hold of round 2. It's a 2-0 lead.
Oxygen, you may have made a mistake leaving Finka in play for this one, because Iconic is immediately not only won the second round, but started off the first round as well with his own impact performance there. The entries and the clutch has already been brought out. This is bad news for Oxygen, as they're 0-2 on basement defenses. Finally going to shift away from that though and head towards an upstairs defense. And things are just not clicking together here on the downstairs site.
Well, let me make it worse for you. Statistically speaking, that's the best site in the entire map. And they can't pick up a round to save their lives, even when it gets down to these 3v3s. And again, Astralis inside of these clutch moments, they're so very strong. It seems like there's really not another team at the current moment that can try and handle what they can do, the way that they play off each other, the synergization. It's been so crazy to watch. It's been amazing, in fact. And now, Astralis with round 3 and a potential to already go up 3 rounds on the offensive side of Oregon.
Oregon continuing to showcase issues for Oxygen. However, to some extent, they throw themselves right back into it due to their choice of site. Retrying things upstairs could yield results, but as Stokes was mentioning, not necessarily guaranteed. Statistically speaking, this is a little bit of a worse site for the defense, but Oxygen may be faring a bit better on it. Their operator lineup going to shift along with it here. Some mainstays will stick around, but we'll see Goyo brought in for Laxing to try and delay the quick play from Astralis, and a few other things switched up as well, such as Newers going over to the cave to try and lock out the access to some of these walls.
Oh, well, that was quite close, although Forrest more than likely not knowing. Nitro sell out, and that'll be a pure waste from Newers. Just feeling as though he could potentially get a freebie if that goes right, but obviously chose wrong. Oxygen now, though, we'll just play it a little bit closer to the actual site. We have some extended players downstairs inside of security, but this is fairly straightforward. We see this a decent amount on this, as well as J9O adopting the game's window. This is something we see quite often as well, and usually the other players are ready for it, but quite a few kills have happened at even this LAN with that window, with how much we usually see it traffic through. Now for Forrest, though, he's going to adjust over towards the balcony. They're trying to get Master popped open here as Oxygen slowly works their way back to site.
Impact gonna go in, see if he can knock out the second charge on that Selma, and should have been able to do the job. Nicely thrown out by Oxygen, just giving them the small breach to work with here. Astralis will have to use another one in order to get that open, but Forrest only has one more in pocket, so maybe thinking about saving that for a more useful wall a bit later on in the round. Either way, Astralis starting to surround the white stairs and a few other access points in the site to begin looking for the path forward. But they haven't even cleared out this first floor extension either. Vertical continues to maintain pressure on the inside of the kitchen and security positions, which is going to cause massive issues for Astralis if they try to ignore it and head right at the white stairs into sight.
Well, Foxe is going to be on the white stairs holding that down, so it won't be a direct route for them. They'll have to go through him first. He'll be droned out, has the Goyo. Able to potentially pop that later on. Those ones playing the big window. What a shot from Fox as he'll take down J90, an immediate headshot practically, but gunned down and burned alive. Laxi will get one. A nice dance here from Forrest. The shuttle picks up on one as well, but Astralis, this is what we've been talking about. They've been so difficult to deal with when they get aggressive. Dream to swing in. Dream picks up one. It's all down to Dream versus Forrest. Dream with the shotgun will seal the deal, and Oxygen finally able to pick up a round.
Minimal support from his other teammate, but that didn't stop him. Dream with a huge clutch right there in the 1v2, puts Oxygen onto the right footing, and finally, that upstairs hold bears fruit for the Oxygen defense. Seemed like they were much more familiar about how to approach that, as well as abuse the attack from Astralis there, but that doesn't mean it wasn't scary here. Specifically, the insertion was looking like Astralis might have been able to clean sweep the defense, but Dream brings it back with his stalwart hold on the inside of the big dorms.
Well, you got to get one to at least start to get the ball rolling. Oxygen have finally got off the starting line. And now they're going to head towards meeting and kitchen. This site pretty unique in its setup, especially how the top floor and the bottom floor plays into it. Not only do you have to worry about attic, but you have to worry about somebody playing around E-box with the potential to nitro sell your planter if you do go for stage. We also see some offensive units try and take the top floor and work their way in through dorms, where they'll get the single panel for kitchen after taking through small and try and plant on the middle island pillar. That's a pretty common one as well. We'll see how Oxygen try and build up their defenses around these two known factors.
10 seconds to go.
No confidence in that basement play just yet, but when they have the capability to roam, get in the face, and interrupt the movement of Astralis, that's when they feel like they can control this game. And generally speaking, so far they've been correct about that theory here. They cannot let Astralis move forward with their game plan. They have to get in the way of it, trip it up, because it's those mid-round adjustments where Astralis will start to struggle slightly, run into problems potentially making up the difference to get themselves into a site. Oxygen has struggled tremendously, though, with getting that advantage in the large majority of this rounds. So maybe finally going to these further out sites are going to yield results. However, they still have to account for the fact that they'll eventually have to return to the basement, specifically after this round, if they lock this one in.
Slow start now for Astralis, not nearly as aggressive as what we had once saw, but as we've seen in the last round, that doesn't mean that things won't end in a pretty convincing way for one of these teams. Foxe will try and pick some things up inside of meeting. Deployable shield now out for Dream as we have the exothermic go down for Forrest, and this is where things could get fun. They're going for the back end of meeting. A pretty interesting plant spot, especially with how many bodies of Astralis they have around the spot now, so could potentially have a pretty well planned out at least order of execution here. Foxe, though, will continue to hold on. They most definitely know that this breach has happened. It's just, what does Astralis do with it past this point?
CJ, I know, dropping down from his T2 position here, T3 position, be able to try and fire back against the players inside of Attic. No dice, though, in finding them out. Instead, it's going to be Iconic. They get sussed out this time and knocked out without any kills to return it, and minimal damage, too. Only a little bit going on in Newers there. Aside from that, no real impact made by him this time. And, of course, the utility and nades will die along with him. Forrest ready to open up the back of stage, though. That'll be the first attacking route available for Astralis, but it's very, very light here. Laxing, in the meanwhile, just hard locked on that angle. He doesn't care about the tracers coming in through the back of stage there. Just how low it's brought him. Foxe, the same thing befalling him now, as he has no reinforcements on these garage panels. He's going to try to impact it, but DP Fire's got the shot from the back and will take him down before he's a chance to win the fight up front.
Incredibly unfortunate for Fox. He thinks he can sneak into garage unbeknownst to the offense, but there's a drone waiting inside of there, and that's the kill they've been looking for. Dream, though, will have the cross now for garage with Laxon coming down main stairs, but this doesn't seem to be where Astralis actually wants to work in from. In fact, Shuttle's coming in the bottom of white stairs at the current moment. He'll get gunned down, though, from vertical with a nice catch. DP Fire to fight back, though, as it goes into a 3 versus 3. J90 knows one is crossing inside of C. Constant shots going back and forth as Forrest is already halfway done with this plan. The security player's dead. J90 is guaranteed the plan. Laxy's on low HP, he's dead as well. It's all down to Vert, the best player on the NAL statistically, and he's dead and gone. Let him know, J90, Astralis is here to stay.
Astralis immediately rebounding after their first lost round here on the second map. They're not letting anything stop them. Even with their primary entry going down, they're still able to immediately rebound and take control of the site. Oxygen, in the meanwhile, almost seems like they're overplaying their strategy a little bit here, trying to rotate so heavily against one or two players, they leave a massive gap open for Astralis to walk right into the site and get a clean plant going for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the plant's going on all the way over in meeting, and J90 is hounding two players over inside of C, and past that, I mean, vertical. You're rotating all the way down Freezer stairs. This plant's already done. Your nitro cell, anything with that really isn't going to matter all that much. You could potentially try and get a flank off on one of the other stairwells, but you should probably try and help your teammate that's taking a gunfight with a guy in an LMG. It's just very unfortunate right now. It's extremely sloppy from Oxygen in a lot of different regards. We expect a little bit more at the current moment, but that's exactly why Redeemer has called this timeout. He can see a few of these gaps that Astralis are exploiting very handedly, making a lot of these situations quite difficult. But now the big issue is that Astralis can guarantee with this round that Oxygen cannot tie the half. And defenses on Oregon matter so much to this map's play.
Astralis really looking to lock themselves in and leave no room for an Oxygen comeback. Despite this, Oxygen now finally getting some input from their coach on how to approach the basement site. Will return to it for a third time. Will they finally lock it in? Or is it going to end up being like T-Room back on the last map, where they're just never able to secure their home site that they use to springboard onto the others? Upstairs has somewhat become it by circumstance. It's the only one they've been able to lock in for themselves. Change-ups will be there for Astralis in relatively minor scope here, but okay, never mind. It's gotten a bit more major now because of DP Fire's choice to bring a blitz into the fold for the construction execute.
Well, I know that I like to have fun. Astralis fans, do you like to have fun? Let's get into this round. Let's see what DP Fire is capable of, because I think it's coming pretty hot. Iconic, he's got the go now. Forrest already has a kill. Oh my God. Here we go. Iconic set up. The blitz is going to push in. Nobody's playing elbow. Found one of you though. Blinded. Hip fires out. Able to get it. Laxing shuts down Iconic. DP Fire has control of elbow. Oxygen's game plan is already falling to pieces.
Astralis have to hold back for a moment. They need teammate support, but it's here in the form of Forrest. He takes out one defender, now two from the inside of the freezer. Dream's gonna run though, and he's got two to respond to it. This round's not over yet. Two more kills to go. It'd be a 1v4 clutch from Dream if he can get it done, but he'll lose a large amount of HP. Trying to transition out into the main hallway. He'll wrap one more time, moving over into greener pastures for himself, trying to line up these SMG-11 crosses, but he's only given Astralis the room to get their plant down and set up post-plant positioning. Dream may have just locked himself into his own grave, and indeed, back into the pace as Forrest gets one more going, and the advantage is secure regardless of the outcome of the last round, with Astralis getting their fourth round.
They just look too strong, Blue. It looks as though Oxygen aren't even playing the same game at the current moment. They're simply just trying to stay alive. That's all they can do at the current moment, especially with Forrest bearing down on top of them. A blitz rushing in through elbow, a triple kill out of the ARX, and Astralis with a plant. That's all you need for a successful round. These players, I mean, what more can you say?
Not much at this point, at least for Oxygen's sake. They have nothing to fall back on except for this kid's site. The good news for Oxygen fans, this site did look fairly dominant in their favor with the last time they played into it. But Astralis as well, keep in mind, their coach also giving input when we had that tactical pause from Oxygen a few rounds back. So they're gonna know and have a course correction for how to approach the assault on this site. Could very well be a fifth for Astralis with the way the momentum is currently swinging.
Astralis at this moment starting to look like one of the best teams North America has produced in a very long time. If they indeed take this, they will be going against some of the best legacy players from North America that we have also ever produced, including Canadian, the only man to lift two hammers on this side of the continents, which is truly, truly incredible. Astralis, though, a little bit more to get done, and they want to make the grand final here in clean 2-0 fashion. Foxay will once again start this round inside of Shower Halls and see if any of the Astralis members want to play.
Astralis continue to take things a bit more cautiously on this round. Mainly, again, due to the early pressure they fended off against from Oxygen on the last assault here and the relative lack of success that they had in making that impact known. That doesn't mean they're going to be sitting back and just kind of waiting for Oxygen to peak, however, here. They're still needing to make some forward moves of their own, and Iconic nearly making one right there. A very well-placed nade, just a bit off the mark to get the full kill, but still removes about half of Laxing's HP. No Thunderbird play at the moment for our defenders. There's no way for these guys to get themselves back up. Selma's in, but should be shot out pretty quickly here, at least the one in the interior.
I knew it!
No!
It's a big rush!
He goes right in through the connector, opens up the side, wide open for his team to utilize. Kills for him! Another one rolling in for Iconic as well. Forest is going for full control over this matchup, and they'll nearly get it. That's a 5-1 half from Astralis. They're 2 rounds away from the grand final now.
What the hell is even that? You're playing ace. You're the support character, man. He slaps his Selma on the wall. He knows what Oxygen are thinking. Oh, well, they're just going to break the wall down. Nobody has to worry about it too much. And then a man with an AK guns down half your team. What do you think of that, Oxygen? 5-1 on the half by Astralis as they are utter dominance up against their North American counterparts.
Forest might have been one of the biggest pickups we've seen, not only for Astralis, but for North America in quite some time, as he is the X factor inside of this game that is pushing them not only into a winning position, you could say that for Iconic as well, but he's the player that's pushing them over the edge and very possibly into a grand final spot in their first tournament back in this roster.
Forest is a player that we hadn't seen in so very long, John. He was a player that played for the OG Beast Coast roster and eventually just didn't play the game anymore, really. Kind of messed around in Challenger League and did some other things. And then out of nowhere, Astralis picks him up for Stage 1 of 2022. I haven't seen Forest's name in 2 years, and now there's a huge potential that he has the chance to take the grand final away from Canadian. It's up to these next 2 rounds and a couple more if Oxygen are able to possibly get those up. But now for Oxygen, they're on the offensive side. Laxing's got to be on LMG duty along with Newers. A lot of potential here for OXG in the lineup, but hopefully the mental's not shattered.
Forest currently 11-2 inside of just this map here, nearly up 2 KPR as well, with 6 rounds completed and 11 frags to back it up from all of those. Truly impressive stuff coming out from him. And again, this isn't even considering Iconic's performance as well. Those first 2 rounds, the clutch on round 2 and the double entry on round number 1. This is truly a powerhouse duo between these 2 players in terms of what they can provide to this roster in fragging power. Let's talk more about this current round, though, as we've got Shuttle lining up here at the top of the stairs to try and see if he can catch these players. Jay and I know also going to be pinched upon, but have they drone down this top stairs position? The first kill will be netted, but DP fire elsewhere on the map with an immediate exchange here. Forest! Oh my goodness! Shuttle helping out for that second one. It doesn't go to Forest, it goes to Shuttle, but still, he primes it with the opening kill. And already this round has been brought down to a 4v2. It's just Dream and Foxay, and they're the support utility players here. You've got the Hard Breach as well as the Thatcher, and they're all that remains of this assault.
Oxygen can't even clear the map without bleeding, and not even bleeding, Blue. They're stuck like a pig, constantly losing body after body. Astralis, all they have to do is give over J90, but he already accomplished his job as well. It's down to Dream and Foxay to try and stop Astralis from reaching map, match, grand final point.
So quiet across the map here. Oxygen know the dire straits they've been thrown into here. They're not looking to make yet another mistake to put them in an even worse position and throw Dream potentially into another clutch scenario, but they may not have a choice. Foxay already getting tracers thrown back at him as he tries to get up towards the front of Freezer, brought down to about half HP. Dream will attempt to prime his teammate for a better push by dumping his flash utility into the depths of the hallway, but it won't work out. Foxay cannot push forward. The toxic babes are just being chained back to back by Iconic here, and Foxay cannot find a safe target to engage upon. Trying his hard out to pre-fire, but he goes down to DP fire, and Forest with yet another kill. Astralis are just 1 round away from an upset 2-0 against Oxygen and a spot at the Charlotte Major Grand Finals.
You hear the 1 more round chants from the crowd. And as I said, John, it wasn't just a joke in our video that we made for Astralis. It's not about the money. It's about the victory. Astralis are here to take this away from Oxygen and to take this whole goddamn tournament if they have to. 6-1 right now at the current moment, leading by 5. Astralis are looking to shut it down on a kid's defense, and this might be one of the most straightforward defensive operator lineups we've seen the whole damn day. A Lesion, a Wamai, a Smoke, a Mute, and a Malusi. Apparently that's all you need in order to utterly dominate your opponent. And at the current moment, Oxygen will be switching some things up. Newer's, in fact, going away from the LMG, John. He's feeling more comfortable on what a lot of gunners across the entire world feel is one of the best guns in the game, the F2 on Twitch.
What a storyline it's being set up for our finals as well. A clash of playstyles, a clash of metas to a certain extent here. DarkZero still playing the slow, methodical playstyle, adding some aggressive elements to it, yes, in recent times, but still falling back on the traditional Siege playstyle. Meanwhile, Astralis, this raw, aggressive playstyle we've been seeing burst out over the past few months with operators like Finka coming into the fold for the attacking roster and being almost quintessential to a team's success. It will truly be a battle for the ages tomorrow. But Astralis, they haven't locked it in just yet. As you're hearing the crowd say, they just need that one final round, and it will be theirs. That position against their brethren from inside the same region. They just need to knock out the rest of the Oxygen roster, but things will start a little bit of a better footing for Oxygen this time. Newers with a clean opening entry against J9. He will falter first for the second round in a row.
That's fortunate for Oxygen, but what do they do with this? A shotgun blast will catch Newers and make some new holes for those toxic babes to travel through for main stairs. Newers trying to get out of the building now. More than likely might adapt the window, and he's dead.
Forrest found him on the gate's window. Newers is gone. Oxygen now have been equalized with Astralis. They've always been capable of finding those frags, and they do it yet again.
It's an even fight here, and that's the exact opposite of what Oxygen wanted to get after they found another opening kill against J9. 2 rounds in a row here that Oxygen have failed to convert the opening kill into their favor, but still, the round's not over yet, so we don't want to talk about this too heavily. They'll open up the access to the walk-in closet, giving them the billiards route they need to either go for the sneaky plant or just have proper post-plant positioning. Oh no, it's not even clean. They don't even actually have the capability to walk through that because there's a little part in the middle that stayed alive here. So unlucky for Oxygen, and this is exactly when they needed luck to be on their side. They needed everything they could possibly get to win this game, but it's just not looking like it's happening. Shuttle sneaks off the kill against Vert. That's the fragging impact largely gone from Oxygen now. Laxing, it's down to the veterans now, and the new addition in Dream. But Dream, he's had himself quite the series so far too. Don't count him and his 2 other teammates down just yet, but it's looking bleak. DP fire, Iconic, the rest of Astralis, it's fallen to Laxing, but no, Iconic